Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today and I hope your weeks are off to a wonderful start. I'm really excited to be making this video today because this is a video topic that I don't believe I've ever touched on before. And I speak a lot on my channel about the word rare when it comes to houseplants because it's a weird one with plants, and I think every single person in the plant community kind of has a different interpretation of what that word means for them. And so today I have brought over some of the plants in my collection that I deem to be the rarest. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean the ones that like have a massive price tag attached to them or anything like that. There are some plants in my collection that you might think, oh, why is that one not on this list? These are ones that I would say are not so commercially rare, if that makes sense. They're ones that I don't know many other people that are growing them, and you wouldn't be able to just like go to your local garden centre and pick up or anything like that. So yeah, they're very unusual and I am very excited about them and I'm excited to share them with you. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And some of the plants on this list are ones that I've only learnt about fairly recently and ones that you might not have seen before. So yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness, Yoli is absolutely wiped from her walk this morning and she's asleep in her bed just next to me. Her bed, which ironically still lives on the sofa. But she keeps having dreams and her little paws keep going, which is just so sweet. But what I was going to say is the plants that I'm going to show you, as always, are in no particular order, but some of the ones that I'm going to show you are still quite juvenile, and so if I can, I will put pictures on the screen so that you can see what they'll look like when they're big and mature as well. But I'm going to start with one that still actually has the name tag in it because I haven't had this plant that long and I have not memorised its name, but it is a Plectranthus sp galgario. And this is what it looks like, and it might not look like much at the moment, but this is honestly one of the coolest plants I own. And if you smell it, or in fact if you just touch the leaves and then smell your fingers, it smells exactly like weed, exactly like marijuana. And you wouldn't think it just by looking at it. And I don't think it's related in the slightest. It's just a weird coincidence. But honestly, I have this one growing just over on one of my window shelves by my desk. And particularly if it's just been watered or if the humidity in the air is particularly high, I will just get whiffs of this thing. And I'm like, oh my God, is someone smoking outside? But also what I have found, and this is probably just like a nerdy plant thing, but if you've got friends that aren't plant people, a lot of my friends are not plant people, it's just a really good kind of like talking point, and it's a nice way to get them into talking about plants a little bit, because I had some friends come over recently and I was saying to them, I was like, oh my God, you must smell this one. And they were like, oh, that's so cool. Do you have any other plants that are cool? And then I just got to talk about my plants for a while and that was fun. But yeah, it's just one that makes me really happy, and it's one that I, as I say, didn't even know existed before I got it at the most recent London plant swap. And so yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated by it, and right now I'm just letting it kind of grow and acclimate to my home because I've only had it about a month, but I'm hoping to at some point maybe take some cuts and just get the plant to fill out a little bit and I don't know, just grow it a little bit bigger and bushier because it's a little bit sparse right now. But yeah, when I was thinking about like rare, unusual plants, things that you don't see every day, I was like 100% this one has to be on the list. But then the next one is a Hoya, and this is one that if you watched my Aroid Asia import video, you might have already seen, but this is the Hoya SP Red Tendon. And you look at the front of it, and again, it doesn't look like much, but if you look at the back of it, that's where it gets the name red tendon from. Obviously, it's got these big kind of maroon red veins that run all the way up the back, and it's so lovely. And I think at some point what I'd quite like to do is grow it again on one of my window shelves looking out so that I can actually appreciate the back of the leaf. And there's not many plants that I would say that for. Typically, you want to be looking at the front of the leaf, but this one is just so unusual. And I'm currently growing it in a no drainage system with semi-hydro on the bottom. Also, sorry if you can see the glare off the things that I'm showing you. It's so dark and dismal today. I'm using my light box and this is like a mirror reflecting back at you. But yeah, I've got semi-hydro on the bottom layer and then a really chunky soil mix on top. And it's early days. I only transferred this one over to this way of growing literally last week, I think. So it's too soon to tell whether or not it's going to keep the plant happy. But knowing what I know about Hoyas, I see no reason why it wouldn't. Like typically this is a great way of growing Hoyas and they do grow really well like this. This one has been not difficult in the time that I've owned it, but I've had it for about 4 months now and it hasn't given me any growth. Within, I think, the first 2 weeks of me owning it, it started putting out a new leaf and I was very, very excited. However, since then, absolutely nothing. And I did accidentally knock that leaf off. So this is just looking how it did when I first got it. However, it is a very exciting one. It's a very cool one. It's one that personally, I don't know anyone else in the UK that is growing. I'm sure there are people, but out of the people that I speak to and follow on social media and stuff, I'm not aware of that. So yeah, for me, I deem it to be quite a rare and unusual plant. And then this little one, this is one that I will have to put some pictures on the screen of when it's mature so that you can see. But this is a Monstera laniata albo. And this is one of 3 laniatas that I brought over to show you because I do also have the mint and the aurea, all very kindly sent to me by Mark at the Eden Lab. So thank you very, very much, Mark. I am beyond excited about these ones. And again, these ones are like, I don't know, as I've already said at the beginning of this video, for me, I don't personally put monetary value and rare as reasons to have them in the rare category, but I don't think this one is crazily expensive to buy, but it is one that I don't know if I've ever seen in anyone else's collection. And again, maybe this is just me being dense, but it's not one that I have picked up on and been like, oh my God, that's an unusual plant. Whereas when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's really, really cool and one that I'm very excited to grow. So yeah, although it's only tiny at the moment, it's got a beautiful, beautiful balance of variegation. It's very well rooted. I can see little roots actually coming down inside the cup there. So yeah, I hope that beautiful half moon variegation stays as the plant continues to mature and size up because yeah, I'm so excited about it. Not a huge amount to say on that one yet, but I will absolutely keep you updated as we go. And then this one, this is another one that I got at the last London plant swap, and it's a begonia, and it's a begonia acontifolia cross coccinea or coccinea. And it looks like this, and it's just got the most unusual shape to its leaves. And I think I said at the time when I showed you it in that video, but the lovely person that gave me this plant said that it was a very unusual hybrid that their, I can't remember, but their auntie or their grandma grew in their garden. And then the plant was actually very sadly stolen. So this is just a little section of it. And I just think it's amazing. It almost looks like a firework or something. It's got that beautiful kind of, I don't know, weird, almost alien form with these gorgeous speckles going across the leaves. And although, again, I haven't had it that long, I feel like it is going to be a fairly fast one to grow. It has already given me this leaf and I can see it is starting to give me another one as well. And that's in, as I say, about a month, which I am very impressed with. And I've currently just got it growing in semi-hydro. This is the way it came and it's the way that I've grown a lot of begonia and they seem to be happy like this. So yeah, I'm growing it just behind me on that shelf. It seems happy and it's just one that is really exciting me. It's a lovely hybrid. And I have actually recently got very, very interested in different begonia hybrids because there are some stunning ones. And this is one that I just wasn't aware of and I wouldn't have thought to kind of hybridize. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. And then this one's an Anthurium, and this is an Anthurium that I am so excited about at the moment, and I don't know many other people that have, and it is the Anthurium SPL Condor. And again, right now, it might not look like much. In fact, it has just started giving me a new leaf, which is so exciting. It might not look like much. However, I will put some pictures on the screen so that you can see what it looks like when it's big and mature, because the two things that I always bang on about loving in Anthuriums is the kind of long strappiness and the low globiness, and this one ticks every box for me, and I am just really, really excited to be growing it. It also, for an Anthurium, seems fairly quick to grow. I haven't had it that long. I think I've only had it about maybe 4 months now, but it has given me a few new leaves in my time of owning it, and with every new leaf it is sizing up, so I'm really hoping that soon it might start to develop that lovely form that it gets as it matures. So yeah, this leaf is still very much hardening off, and so therefore I would say probably still growing, and I shouldn't really be picking it up and moving it and touching it, but I just want to check on it all the time because it's one that's really exciting me. And again, I have got this one growing in a no drainage system, very similar to what I just showed you for the Hoya SP Red Tendon. I've got a chunky mix at the bottom, and that's where I typically fill my reservoir. It is a little bit dried out at the moment. And then I've got a really chunky mix there, and then I've just got some sphagnum moss on top, and this just helps me to monitor the level of moisture within the soil if I can't see very well, because obviously I'm not sticking my finger down as much. And yeah, this has so far been a really good way to grow the plant. The plant seems very happy, and the potential of this one is just absolutely mind-blowing, and the fact that it does seem quite fast to grow just really excites me, because it's like when I got the Anthurium pallidiflorum, I was like, oh my goodness, the potential. And I do feel, if I do say so myself, that I've been able to, that's the pallidiflorum just there, the big long strappy one. I feel like I've been able to bring out the potential in that plant very well in quite a short space of time. So if I could do the same for this one, I would be over the moon. But then this next one, I'm not sure if this, so I don't know if you guys would think of this one as rare, but again, it's one that you don't see very often, so I thought I would include it. And in fact, a section of it has rotted, so I'm just going to take that out. But it is the Variegated Crassula ovata jade plant, and I did in fact have this as a full plant until very recently, but it had completely reverted, and I've got like 4 normal jade plants in my collection, and Ross has got jade plants as well, and I was like, I don't need another normal jade. However, I love the variegated version, so I did just remove the variegated leaves, and I'm trying to prop them so I don't have to keep the full plant. I can just try and conserve the variegation. Whether or not it works, I don't know. I've never propagated a variegated jade before. Like, obviously I've propagated the jade plant thousands of times, because all you need to do is just pop a leaf in soil and it's done. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how it will work in conserving the variegation. So this is a little bit of an experiment. And as I say, when I took this out to show you today, I could see that this leaf had started to rot. So who knows, it might not work. But it's a really beautiful plant, variegated. And it's one that you definitely don't see about very often. I in fact got mine, I know I said you wouldn't find any of these plants at a local garden centre, but I did actually find mine at a garden centre, but it was in with non-variegated ones. So I feel like this is just perhaps a genetic mutation, and I was able to just pick it up for a couple of quid. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed for this one. I do hope it roots, and I do hope I get some lovely variegated babies from it, but it's probably too soon to tell. And then this one. So this is a plant that I showed you a lot at the beginning of the year. It was one that I was so incredibly excited about, and I was like, oh my God, it's all I can talk about. It's my favourite plant. And then everything went a little bit wrong, and I had to chop the whole plant up and start again. And so now it's looking very small and kind of insignificant. If I can find some clips of it from when I showed you it at the beginning of the year, I'll put them in so that you can see it. But this is what it's currently looking like, and it is the Drymonia chiribogana, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful plant. And when I was first growing it, I was just growing it in sphagnum moss, which again, as you can probably see, is how I've decided to grow the plant once more. But it was fine like that. It was doing really well. I didn't really have any issues. The only issue I had was that the plant was kind of toppling over. Honestly, it grew so quickly, and it was very top heavy, and yeah, it was just kind of dipping and falling. And so I was like, okay, I'll chop that top section and I'll propagate that, and then maybe I'll pot the bottom section up in soil. And that's where the downhill spiral kind of started. The plant didn't respond well at all. It wasn't happy. And then the plant also, if I do remember correctly, got thrips, and I think one section got mealybugs. So yeah, I just chopped the whole thing up and I restarted it, and thank goodness it has reset pretty well, and I think this one is off to a good start. I've got lots of lovely leaves there now. I am just keeping that little cup on top, obviously firstly for humidity, but also just to protect the plant a little bit. And I'm growing it in my cabinet because my cabinet is nice and warm. So I do hope that soon I will have the plant back to how I did initially, because it's such a beautiful one. And as I say, I really don't know many people that have this plant. It feels like such a privilege to grow. So yeah, I'll, again, as I'm saying with all of them, keep you updated. But it does feel like moss is probably the way forward for this one. But yeah, and then this next one, it might not look like there's much to show at the moment, because in fact there is not much to show, but it's one that I'm so excited about, and currently I don't think I know. Oh, actually it's a lie, one person on my Patreon actually is growing this plant, but apart from that I don't know anyone else that's growing this plant. And this is what it looks like. It is a Welwitschia mirabilis, and I spoke about this one in my weird plants series on my channel, and if you are interested in weird, kind of unusual, rare plants, then I've got a playlist for that, which I will link down below. But it's commonly known as the living fossil plant. It's capable of living for thousands and thousands of years, and it can actually be grown as a houseplant. However, it's very difficult to grow, apparently, especially very difficult to grow from seed, and I couldn't find it anywhere online for a price that I was happy with as a fully fledged plant. I could only find it as seeds, and even finding the seeds was difficult enough. So I got some seeds and I'm trying to grow it at the moment. And in fact, I only potted this up this morning. So as I say, I'm showing you it, but there's really not much to see yet. In fact, there's nothing to see yet. But yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of experimenting. I had 5 seeds in total, and I'm growing them in different conditions with different lighting. Some seeds I'm trying to germinate in the dark, and I'm just experimenting. But it is, oh my God, it's a plant that if I'm able to grow, I will be, yeah, beyond happy with, because it's such an unusual one. But yes, not a lot to see. And then this little one that I have shown you a couple of times on my channel, but I only got very recently, and it is the Tephrocactus geometricus. And again, I know it's very small at the moment. I will put some pictures on the screen of what it looks like big and mature, because it's absolutely amazing. And the more that time goes on as a plant parent, I don't know, I'm wanting to bring things into my collection that feel very, I don't know, specific to me, and feel like, I don't know, they're not just the thing that everyone's growing at the moment, and they might not be the trendiest thing, but like the moment I saw this one, I was like, oh my goodness, I must find this plant. And again, it's been quite a difficult one to come by, but now that I've got it, I'm just willing it to grow. I'm sure it's going to be quite slow, but yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to seeing what it does for me. And before I continue to speed through these plants, I feel like I'm speeding. I feel like I need to slow down, but I am just going to change my camera battery because my camera is about to die. Okie dokie, as I say, I'm so sorry if I'm gabbling through these plants. I often think that just when I'm talking about things that I'm really excited about, I feel myself speeding up and speeding up and speeding up, and then I'll finish filming and I'll be like, oh, did I breathe for any of that? So yes, moving on. The next one is one that I have shown you before, but it's still one that I would deem to be very unusual. And I know it's probably one that some of you are going to go, oh God, that's a horrible plant. But it is the Hoya undulata red, and I just think it's so cool. Honestly, this type of Hoya is the one that got me into kind of weird and wonderful plants. I got this one, not this exact plant sadly, but I got this one originally from Green Spaces ID, I think about 3 years ago. I was sent it very kindly by them in exchange for doing an unboxing video. And when I first opened this one, I just remember being like, oh God, what on earth is that? That is so not my sort of thing. It kind of looks a bit mottled and dead and prehistoric and weird. But as the plant started to grow, I don't know, I became absolutely obsessed with it. I loved the kind of like the splashiness on its leaves and the red undersides as well. I just think they're so pretty. And so when this plant, again, type of plant started going downhill when I first moved in here, I was absolutely devastated and I didn't manage to save the plant. So I got it again with an import order, I think about 6 months ago now, something like that. And I was, honestly, I almost cried. I was over the moon because it's such a special, such a cool plant. And yeah, one that you really don't see in the UK that much. So I feel very, very fortunate to grow it. Again, it's another one that I am growing in a no drainage system. As you can see, it's got some roots coming through there, which are doing very well. And although it has been quite a slow one to get going, I can see finally now it is starting. Oh, why is the camera not focusing? Is starting to give me some growth. Like you see that little leaf there. It's got some growth coming up the top here. And in fact, it is a Hoya that would definitely appreciate a trellis, so that's something that I will be doing for it quite soon. But yeah, if you're like, I don't know, I feel like if you're interested in getting into kind of weirder, unusual plants, this is one that I would just recommend so highly. It just is so rewarding, and I feel like this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like getting to know this plant kind of opened up a whole world of other unusual plants that I now have such a passion for that maybe I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for this one. It's been like the gateway plant for me. So yeah, it's one that I couldn't recommend highly enough. And yeah, I just love, and I'm excited hopefully to grow big and beautiful again. And then this one, oh my goodness, I'm really annoyed. I basically put this one too close to the grow light in my cabinet and it has got a little bit burnt. But this is another one that I've still got the label in because I only got this one again at the most recent plant swap, and it is a Dioscorea SP Peru. And I've had a Dioscorea discolor in the past, and in fact I feel like I might have had a couple of Dioscorea in the past, but it's just one that I'm really, really excited about. I love its little leaves and how they almost look a little bit Anthurium. And in fact, earlier in the video I was showing you the Anthurium SP Condor. When this one's mature, obviously on a much larger scale, but its leaves almost look a little bit like this. So yeah, I just think it's so pretty, it's so delicate. It is one that I know is very sensitive. Like for example, it does not like to dry out. It will die very, very quickly if you let it dry out. It loves growing in sphagnum moss, so obviously that does mean a lot of very careful monitoring because moss, especially if it's in a warm environment, will dry out very quickly. So yeah, currently it is in my cabinet, and as I say, I've got it quite close to the top of my cabinet, and it has just come into contact with the grow light. But I think I will probably move it down, and maybe even I could trellis it. I think like it is a plant, I think I'm right in saying it's in the sweet potato family. It is a plant that likes to climb and does kind of tendril quite a lot, so I feel like I should give it something. I should give it something, shouldn't I? I don't know why I'm just thinking about this now. But yeah, it's just a really awesome, really cool little one that seems, so long as you're on top of things, very easy to grow. So yeah, I'm very excited to get it going fuller. I might again chop and prop at some point. It would be lovely to get it growing a little bit fuller, but for the time being, that's what it looks like, and it is just one that I'm really excited about. And then finally for this video, but I could go on and on, I decided to stop because I was like, oh my god, I'd just be waffling for ages. But again, this is another plant swap one, and technically this one was swapped with one of Ross's plants. Ross swapped a cutting of his Begonia breviremosa for this plant, I do believe, but it is an Episcia caprea, I think. I will put the name on the screen if that's wrong. But this is what it's looking like, and this one actually is currently living its best life in one of my prop boxes next door. I just took it out to show you for this video because I came home with a lot of things from the last plant swap, and I could have absolutely put them all into kind of like general population immediately, but I was like, I'm gonna stagger it and I'm gonna keep some in the box. Firstly, so that I get a chance to actually get to know the plants and get used to them, but also so that the plants have a chance to acclimate. And this is one that, to be honest, I wasn't quite sure how it would do because obviously the prop box is very, very humid, and just looking at it, it's quite a succulent plant and it's also quite furry. Don't know if you can, the camera's picking up on quite how kind of fuzzy and furry it is. I wasn't sure how it would get on in a prop box, so I have been monitoring it very carefully, but it does seem really happy. And in fact, if you look at the back just there, it's got loads of aerial roots it's putting out, meaning that I could technically already chop and prop the plant if I wanted to. But yeah, this is just one that you really don't see about very often, and it's just one that I know I'm saying I'm really excited by it. Yes, it is technically Ross's plant, but I think it's one that we can grow together because it's one that I really like and I really want. Yeah, those are all the ones that I brought over to show you in this video. I had a few others that I was like, do I bring that as well? But then I didn't, I don't know. If you want to see more like this, then please let me know and I will happily do a part 2 to this video. And oh my goodness, please, 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 please comment down below some of the plants that you grow in your collection or ones that you've got on your wish list that are ones that are just a little bit unusual and maybe aren't, as I say, like the only way I can think of putting it is like commercially rare, like the ones that you would see on, I don't know, the rare page of the Grow Tropicals website or something like that, ones that are just a little bit more niche. Let me know what those are because my wish list is just filled with those kind of plants at the moment and they're the ones that are really exciting me. So yeah, I would be very interested to know your thoughts. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.